Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 on the Prismatic Academy podcast. I'm Krissy Marie and I tell the true life stories of some amazing visionaries, healers, conscious co-creators, and entrepreneurs. Today we're chatting with Jacqueline Morasco, a yoga teacher, coach, healer, and the owner of Spirited Practice. Jacqueline is a mind-body alchemist, an expert when it comes to teaching others how to be more in tune with and connected to their bodies. In this interview, Jacqueline shares her story in the struggle with her body, overcoming addiction and apathy for life, and how her awakening led her to have a deeper understanding of awareness that comes with experiencing actually being in your body. We'll talk about how she learned how to use ritual and routine to support the creation and cultivation of a life she loves, as well as some of her very favorite DIY recipes for household and personal care products to live a more natural life. Jacqueline is a luminary and totally knowledgeable when it comes to helping others get in touch with their mind, body, and spiritual goals, and developing those practices that support having a life of presence and total wellness. So I can't wait for you to hear the chat. Without further ado, here it is, episode 3, Mind-Body Alchemy with Jacqueline Morasco. Well, I'm so happy to be chatting with you, and I'm so thrilled that you agreed to come onto my podcast because I absolutely love talking to you, one, but two, Mind-Body Alchemy is amazing. So I can't wait to hear, how you got into it, what that means to you, and how you're helping people stay connected with their body. So maybe to start out, would you mind giving us a little bit of your background and how you became interested in Mind-Body Alchemy?
Sure, it's kind of a long story, but I will be as concise as possible. So my name is Jacqueline Morasco, and I would say I had an addiction issue when I was in my teens, and it was when I stopped using substances that I all of a sudden became fascinated with my body. So I was 21 when I stopped using, and I was really concerned about being healthy. But even more than that, I had a hard time sitting still. And so I thought if I could learn how to meditate, that could help me to sit still. But then, of course, I tried to sit still and meditate, and I couldn't do that either. So I started to do yoga, and then eventually I realized the brain-body connection in myself. And I would say from that time on, I made it my mission to learn as much as I could and to experience as much as I could, and then eventually to teach others what I learned.
Yeah. It sounds almost as if you were already pretty self-aware, but when it comes to when you were, kind of cleansing your body and detoxing and learning a little bit more about yoga, it almost became a heightened awareness. Was that true for you, or was there one major event that kind of really blew your mind and you're like, whoa, hey body?
Well, it's really interesting. So it's kind of a little of both. Yes, I was a dancer when I was young, so I was very aware of my body in one way where, I knew how to make it perform. And then when I stopped using substances, it was like when I was using, I really didn't care if I lived or died because I just didn't think there was a whole lot to live for. And then it was really when I was in rehab, all of a sudden, and I call it a spiritual awakening, but, people can call it whatever they want to. I was in the rehab, I was angry that I was there, and then all of a sudden, and I don't know why, but I had this desire to live. And it was then, once I had this desire to live, then I started to look at what I was putting in my body and how I was taking care of myself, and then eventually, of course, how I treated others. But that didn't come for a while.
Right. Well, I mean, I feel like that's usually always the first step too, is like when we heighten our own self-awareness, and we have to like really focus on that before we can graduate into other levels and start spreading out that awareness.
Yes, I agree.
So, Mind-Body Alchemist, that is such a cool title to go by. What does that mean to you?
So, well, and it's taken a long time to evolve to that. I've been a teacher, and there are words in Sanskrit, for teacher, not guru, but other ones, and it was kind of like I was trying to figure out what exactly I do, and it was part of the whole branding, marketing thing in my business, and I realized, and it was in an energy session, and then kind of through my meditation practices that it came to me. It was like, what do I do for people? Yes, I help them with their body, in with yoga and with eating and not putting chemicals, and not talking about substances, but just about harsh chemicals in our environment and stuff. And then it was like, but it's not just that. If you can take care of your body, but if you don't take care of your mind, then it doesn't all work. And so then it just like kind of popped into my head. And of course, one of my favorite books of all time, I don't know if you've read it, but is The Alchemist.
Yes.
And it was really about transforming your body and mind through a connection to spirit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was clear enough for you, but
No, I mean, it's almost because I struggled with a similar thing, and I think I shared this with you in a previous conversation too. How I kind of felt like I was struggling with what I do also, because I feel like a lot of healers and creators and visionaries are are never just one thing. They're very holistic, and so I thought in my own story how I would always label myself, oh, I'm a creative entrepreneur, or in brand and business development. And I had a similar experience where I'm like, yeah, well, what do I do for people? And what do I like to do, and what do I do well? And that always came back to storytelling. And so for you, I definitely felt like you can't be put inside a box, because what you do is very holistic. You do walk people through how to heal and take care of their mind and their body, and the two go hand in hand.
I agree completely. The thing, though, that I realized is for those of us creatives and who are multi-passionate, we have lots of different things that we love to do and that we're good at. We do have to find the right words to reach the people that we're going to work with, because if we don't, like, I will sometimes go by how I feel, but not everybody operates on that level. And so we have to have words or something to invite people in to our services.
Well, so when I speak with a lot of creatives, I work with them a lot on when they get to the stage of the burnout. And it's just when they were just pushing and pushing so hard to create something, whether it's a business or a passion project, and they get to this point where they just kind of don't follow through. And usually it's because they stopped taking care of their body. They didn't leave any space or any energy. And so I was just wondering if you actually were seeing that same kind of trend among the people that you work with.
Yeah, so I would say that I work with two kinds of people. One is like the really successful business person. They can be an entrepreneur or work with somebody else. But what happens is they do so many things, and you're right, like the first thing to go is taking care of the body. They're on the run, so they're, either not eating or they're eating too much. They're shoving food in their mouth while they're driving, and and they're really not taking care of themselves. And then the other kind of person that I work with are new entrepreneurs who are exploring what's available out there. And I think that's a really hard place to be. Not only do you have all these things that, well, for myself and people I work with, that we're passionate about, but then it's like, how do I get myself out there? There are so many ways and webinars and different
Right.
software and apps and things that you can do that people really get hung up in all of that stuff.
Right. Or maybe just even so excited too. When that creative energy hits you, I know exactly what it's like. I think I forget to sleep for maybe 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it sounds like there's also a lot of options and resources too for people to, learn how to be connected with their body, but it seems also to be different for everyone. So, in a world with so much information, what do you do for people to help kind of filter through it?
So I think the most important thing that people can do is to slow down and really pay attention to what they're doing. So it sounds so simple and basic, but really just kind of stop, and say, okay, so what's going on? I haven't slept in 2 days. My body is puffy. I need to take a shower. Like really assess where you're at, and then move on from there. So really basic things, basic to begin with, and then once they stop and kind of do those basic things, then we can look at how we can work it into their life. And I like to call it like rituals, routines, and practices, although I found that people struggle with some of those words. But really creating a systematic pattern to do things in their life so that the basic things get done. How do you get to bed early? How do you work a little bit of exercise into your life? Can you figure out a way to eat healthy foods when there's no time to go grocery shopping, or you don't know how to cook, or whatever it is? So stopping and then coming up with a plan to live, and it doesn't have to be like the ultimate and all natural living, but just to fit those things in that are really important so that you can be that amazing creative person that you are.
Right. And I loved what you said in that last part too, is like really figuring out what is important to them. Like they don't have to go crazy with holistic or natural living, but when they're noticing some things, or maybe they've been dismissing something that as normal for way too long. Like I know that a lot of people dismiss back pain as normal, or chronic fatigue as normal. I definitely agree with you that it's so important to pay attention to those symptoms and that feedback that your body is giving you. And, if it's important enough for you to change it, to really build up a system that supports that.
Right. I mean, it's really sad that so many of us wait until it's some sort of crisis,
Right.
like where you have a life-threatening disease, or you get into a car accident because you haven't slept, or whatever, your partner walks out on you because they just can't take you not taking care of yourself, or not being available because you're so focused on whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, so this really does pretty much affect every area of a person's life, but that's just not something that we're really taught to be aware of. So about the rituals and routines, I know that that's something that I love talking to you about. How did you kind of get interested in rituals and routines? And do you remember what your first kind of routine was? The one that you said, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to commit to it. And what helped you commit to it?
Wow, that's I can't really say like which was the very first one that I ever did. I know that when I was younger, and I didn't even know that this was a ritual at the time, but I grew up in a small town, and my stepfather was a stonemason, and we had this big, huge, beautiful fireplace in our house. And every day, we heat our home. And so we always had a fire going, and it went through the whole house, not the fire, but the heat. Right. And I would gaze at the fire, and it was mesmerizing, and it made me feel really good, and it was something I did every day. And I didn't realize until much later that it was a type of meditation. Candle gazing or fire gazing has been around for a long, long time, but I had been doing that and it was soothing to me. And so I would say that's probably the first ritual that I remember doing.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I didn't know it was a ritual. I didn't know that it was good for me. It just felt really good to do at the time. But later on, now that I meditate every day, it's like I can recall that. And it's funny because it's only recently that I started calling what I teach and do rituals, routines, and practices. I've taught yoga for a long time and write up practices for people to do. So I've used that word practices for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized it's more than just a practice. We need those things that are sacred to us, and sacred, we all kind of have different things in our life that are sacred and important to us. And so what I love to do is give people lots of options and then support them in making it their own. Because what I do when I wake up in the morning, going through my morning routine and ritual, it might not appeal to you at all.
Right. And going back to how you mentioned that it's different for everybody. So yeah, I think it's really important to also to let people practice, checking in with themselves and how they feel about something, and if something is feels right for them.
I agree. And if it doesn't, I mean, you might do something that I suggest that you do,
Mm-hmm.
For a little while, but if it doesn't serve any purpose, you don't get any benefit out of it, you're probably not going to continue to do it.
Right.
There needs to be some sort of payoff for us, not necessarily financial, but sometimes it is financial.
Or just like a deeper why that can kind of carry you through it and help you stay committed. So I wanted to go back to the fire gazing because I love that, because I think it was a really great example of you performing a routine, but maybe not having an intention around it or being conscious of what you were actually doing. Maybe it was like centering or grounding for you. So have you noticed any differences between when you do rituals with intention versus without intention?
Well, I would say when there's no intention that it's not a ritual.
Okay.
Then it might be more of like doing something as a routine. So an example might be brushing your teeth. Most of us get up and we brush our teeth in the morning.
Right.
And I would say that the majority of us probably aren't so aware when we're brushing our teeth. You just kind of brush your teeth and get it done, but
right,
you can turn that into a ritual by being really aware of how you brush your teeth and that you're cleaning your teeth and your mouth and preparing yourself for the day while you're brushing your teeth, like being really mindful. And it doesn't have to take any more time than if you were just brushing your teeth mindlessly.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things, like so many of us drive mindlessly. We get on the road and you get down the highway and you're like, wow, how did I get to this exit?
Right. How did I miss it when I do this every day?
Right, exactly. It's those things that we do every day that tend to be routines that we don't think about, and so I think we can take many of those everyday routines and turn them into ritual by making them more important to us and by being really aware and mindful of what we're doing. So I would say when we are being more mindful, it may take more time because then we might be more detailed in how we do that thing, whatever it is. But I definitely think that the intention is a big part of it.
And I almost thought, it would take less time because we're being more efficient. I remember when I do something mindless, or like when I'm in the shower and accidentally put face wash in my hair and I have to, I end up doing that process all over again. I'm like, well, if I just paid attention a little bit more, I probably would have saved a little bit more time. I mean, not that it was crazy significant, but it had me wondering what else I'm doing in my life mindlessly that is just sucking me away from efficiency.
Absolutely. And I think of doing things on the internet or driving past the exit that you're supposed to get off because you weren't paying attention, or I think I can think of lots of things that happen because we're not paying attention where it costs us more time. So I think you're right, like it can go either way depending on what it is that we're doing. But I do think one of the things that has happened for me over time, the more I pay attention to what I'm doing, the more I pay attention to other things. So like by taking care of myself, like I'm more in tune to what's happening with my family and my kids, and I'm more present when I'm in conversation with people. Yeah, so it kind of like carries over into other things.
Right, and it's almost as if, well, because you're creating space, right? So
yes,
so energy can flow into other things. Well,
I agree. Yes.
Along that line, so I think like being mindless is one thing, but what about all of the distractions, the things that our energy tends to go to take us away from our family and to take us away from our relationships? What do you do to remove distractions? Or how do you deal with them?
That's a great question, and I'm glad that you came back around to it because it came up earlier in our conversation. So for me, I need to close my computer. In fact, that was pointed out to me by one of my teenagers. So I
That's
can't.
Ironic.
I know, which is so funny. So I might have to turn my phone off or close my computer, not turn on the TV. I'm not a big TV watcher, but if it gets turned on, I'll find myself being pointed in that direction. Some people are able to have their electronics there and not pay attention to them. That doesn't work for me. I really have to take the distractions out of my environment, whatever it is. And that, and I'm talking about electronics right now, but it could even be like if I'm meditating, a distraction could be a piece of dust on the floor that catches my eye. But really it's those like emails that come in that I don't really need to look at. So what I've had to do is just only check my email a couple of times a day instead of like constantly keeping my email open so that I can see every time something comes in and turning off notifications.
Right. Oh, so it's almost as if you're setting specific times where you can like engage in the electronics, or so even with the speck of dust while you're meditating. So I'm very much the same way, and I know that if I don't pick it up and throw it away, it's just gonna bother me for the rest of my meditation. So when do you kind of tell yourself no, or try to remain disciplined, and when do you like just remove the distraction, or are they kind of the same thing?
Right. Well, so with the electronics, for me, I really have to just turn them off, close them, because I don't know why, like they pull me in really easily. If I'm meditating and someone comes to the door, or I see something that is out of order, I'm really okay with kind of laughing to myself and turning that off and going back into my meditation. And even if I've like forgotten to turn off my phone, like turn the sound off, and I'm in my meditation, I don't get out for that. And it definitely, if I'm in a session with a person, my phone is turned off so that I can't be bothered. So I would say that for some things I just have to turn them off, but things that are related to my environment, I'm pretty good at letting those go.
For me, I think it would be really difficult to completely remove a distraction, because I like to be a little bit fluid about things. So how would you deal with that and judge? Because for me, I judge myself. I'm like, I should really be disciplined and stick with my meditation and really remove this distraction. Did you face that, and was it difficult for you at the beginning to do that? And what did you do about it?
Yes, it was very difficult, and I've been through many different phases in my meditation practice because it's been over such a long period of time, and I've tried lots of different things. For new people, what I suggest is, one, starting off with a small amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So not expecting yourself to be able to be focused for 45 minutes. I say, start with 3 to 5 minutes when you're first starting out, and you start to develop or cultivate like a meditative mind, and then build on that time if it's necessary. And so it's much easier to stay focused for 5 minutes than it is for 45.
Totally,
but your mind will definitely play tricks on you. So even for 3 minutes, you can get yourself distracted. And what I suggest is that, when something pops into your head, you open your eyes, you see that, crumpled paper on the floor. You say, okay, crumpled paper, it's there. I'll get you when I'm done. And then you close your eyes again and go back into your meditation. Obviously, if it's something life-threatening, you deal with it.
Sure, like that life or death email that comes through. I was thinking as you're talking about how when taking these baby steps almost towards your goal, like if your goal is meditation, is almost like working any kind of muscle. Your mind is a muscle, right? So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
Absolutely, and I talk about every skill that any of us have developed: walking, talking, driving a car. If you have a specific skill set, we don't. Yeah, I mean, there are those prodigies or whatever, but for the most of us, we have to begin, and then we develop our skill over time, and definitely meditation is like that.
Right. I worked with you on your natural living books, where you help people remove toxins from their lives and give them recipes and ways that they can live more naturally, or make these health or beauty care, personal care, and household cleaning products themselves. So when I first started out detoxing my life and my environment, it was really difficult for me because I went cold turkey. So what are some things that you can recommend for people who are wanting to be a little bit more aware about what they're bringing into their environment and what they're putting on their bodies?
I think it's really hard to go cold turkey and just change everything, like switching over all your food and so that it's all organic, and getting rid of everything that's not, and throwing out all the dangerous chemicals that you use on your body and for cleaning. And so I say, what's the part that you want to change the most, and maybe it's what's going to give you the best bang for your buck. For some of us, I definitely started in the food department, changing over things, but I didn't change everything all at once. It was kind of like, I started with trying to eat local vegetables and fruits, and then trying to buy organic fruits and vegetables. And then I realized that in our community, the local farmers aren't labeled organic, but their food is organic. And, and so, but it was this process. And then I switched over a lot of my creams and beauty products, and it didn't even occur to me about cleaning chemicals. And then all of a sudden, one day I was cleaning, and it was a horrible smell, and I thought, what am I doing? And so it was a process, and I don't know what it would be like to do it all at once, because all of the stuff that we've been working on together, you and I've been gathering and trying and experimenting for years and years. And so my suggestion would be find the easiest changes that you can make first. So is it food? Is it your beauty products? I mean, some people I know, all their cleaning products are natural and their food is great, but they can't give up certain chemicals that they put on their face because they don't want wrinkles. Or they have to run outside and be in the sun, and because sun can be good or it cannot be good, and they're running in our polluted air. So you just kind of have to choose your thing and stick with it.
Right.
And then after you have integrated that into your life, then see if there's something else you want to change.
I love that. And it's also, I think, living naturally should also be a natural process. And I learned that the hard way because when I was first learning about the toxins in our environment and what's in our food and what's in our beauty products, I did go cold turkey. I threw everything out and I got really sick. Like, because I think I just, not just detoxed so heavily, but I didn't really understand it at the time, but I noticed that it was too many changes too fast where I was getting really sick. And then also when I was detoxing so quickly, it was making me even more sensitive to toxins that I missed. So do you have any favorite household products that you like to do yourself or that you could maybe suggest people to consider switching out for something better?
There are some things that are so easy to change over, and especially those of us who have other people who live in our home with us. So specifically with cleaning products, I have found, and I know some people don't like the smell of it, but I have found vinegar and baking soda, and not mixing them together because when you do, you end up with water, right? But using baking soda and salt is a great abrasive for cleaning things like sinks and stuff like that. And then vinegar for things like floors and mirrors. And the thing you don't want to use vinegar on is your granite if you have stone floors or countertops. But what I do with my vinegar, and this is like my favorite all-time tip, is I take the lavender and I actually just harvested all my lavender, and many of my friends cut theirs and give it to me as well. And I take a big glass jar and I put the lavender in their stems and everything because it all has this wonderful oil. And then I put vinegar over the top and close it up. And I like to put a piece of plastic in between the lid and the glass because that way the vinegar doesn't corrode the lid, and let it sit for a couple of months. And then use that as my vinegar. So the vinegar, the lavender overpowers the smell of the vinegar. And, if you stick your face in the jar, you're going to smell the vinegar.
Right.
But it really transforms it. And so I've been doing this for a long time. So now I have it, and it stays for quite some time, so you don't have to worry about it going bad. Right. And then I dilute it with water, and it's really wonderful for glass and all sorts of things, and even as a room freshener. And what I love is then I put it in the containers, and so like the spray bottles and stuff, and my kids will grab it under the counter and like clean their car windows and stuff like that, and not even realize that it's not like the chemical-y stuff.
Wow, so they don't even know the difference. So everybody's happy.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's a really great tip. I definitely want to try that. So how long do you let it sit for? You said for a couple of months. Do you kind of have a timeline, or do you like slowly take from it and refill it?
So I have, because I've been doing it for a while, I have some. So if you're like just starting though, you might pour some out after a couple months, and you could take it out sooner, but it really starts to infuse, the lavender infuses into the vinegar after a couple months. Some people say like even 4 weeks, but I say minimally 2 months. Then you take some out, and you can keep using that same lavender over and over. So you can take it out after 2 months, add some vinegar, and I don't take it all out. I take like half of it out and then add vinegar and let it sit for until I use up the other stuff. And yeah,
I love that. I'm totally gonna try that. So how often do you make time for making your own household and beauty products?
I have talked to a lot of people about this. So for myself, it really doesn't take that much time. One, because I love to do it, and one of my kids likes to do it with me, and so we make it kind of like this fun thing. But I would say, seriously, less than an hour a month.
Wow. I wouldn't even have guessed that.
So it's really, to me, that's not that long.
Oh, totally. That's so easy. So but does it take some time to prepare it or organize it or, know what you're going to buy? Is it really just an hour start to finish?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, so a lot of the things that I like to work with, I have in my home, and most people have in their homes, like depending on the kind of home that you have. And so, yeah, if I know like I'm running low on certain things like vinegar, baking soda, I might grab it when I go to the store. I like to look at what I'm missing and keep an ongoing list so I get everything that I need when I go. And I would say the things that like certain like we're talking about cleaning products, but those I can whip up really fast, and they're from things that I have in the house pretty much all the time. The beauty products I have to sometimes think about in advance so that I have that stuff if I'm making like a healing salve or but for the most part, most everything I make, I just have the stuff. But for someone who's not done it, you'd have to kind of go through the recipes that you're going to make. And one of the things I love about the booklet that I made is I've tried everything in there, and so I know they all work. But when I was first experimenting, I had no idea what really worked and what didn't. And so it was a little bit more time consuming at the beginning because I just had no idea.
I see. Well, I'm so glad you said that because I know for me personally, I had this huge misconception that I was almost imagining myself, almost like meal prepping and how much time that takes, because it definitely doesn't take me an hour. I think it takes me almost 3 start to finish, just to like plan everything and to buy everything, to prep it, or to make everything and to like package it. So it's awesome to hear that, one, most people have these items in their household readily available, and 2, that they're very easy to make. And also 3, you can have a lot of fun with it and almost have a DIY party.
Exactly. And some people just say it's just so much easier to buy the pre-made stuff. And I'm like, you do what you need to do. Like, if that's easier, I can see where that can happen. Like, I definitely buy pre-made Castile soap, because and that works into a lot of my recipes that make it so much easier. But it really, like for do-it-yourself cleaning products, you really don't have to spend a lot of time. And yes, I agree that cooking food, especially if you're doing lots of vegetables and there's, not only buying, but then cleaning and chopping, and it can be time consuming, but I think it's definitely worth it.
I totally agree. So when you compare the cleaners that you make yourself to the chemical cleaners, are they as effective?
So I've had this conversation with a number of people. So I bake often, not so much in the summer, but in the winter. And so my oven gets used, and it's self-cleaning if I want to do that. But I actually like to get in there myself, and I use baking soda and sometimes a little salt for a little bit more abrasion and water, and it cleans my oven beautifully. And people are like, oh, it's so much easier just to spray those chemicals or to turn it on. And the thing is that it really doesn't take that much longer. You put some water, you put some baking soda, you let it sit. And yeah, I have to scrub a little bit. Of course, I like that, working my muscles in my arms. But, if you're like I was talking to a woman who has a cleaning service, and she's like, I just don't have the time to do that. And, natural cleaning products take more time. And I disagreed with her, but she, she stood by her facts and I stood by mine. So yes, you sometimes have to work a little bit harder to have them work, but I'm okay with that. I'm trying to think, I think the one that people are concerned about the most is like cleaning the inside of the toilet bowl. And so the thing is that you might have to, well, and I shouldn't even say that, you just have to do it regularly. Like
with baking soda?
Right, like I went to Asia for 3 weeks, and so no one cleaned my house while I was gone, And so when I went to clean the toilets, I definitely had to work a little bit harder because it hadn't been done in 3 weeks, even though nobody had used it.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And then also, so you mentioned that, most people have these products in their household. Do they also, will it save you money, or do you need to use more of these products to get the same job done? How's your experience been with that?
So the thing is, there isn't even any kind of price comparison because with my do-it-yourself products, they are so much less expensive. Like I can't even compare. Like 2 gallons of vinegar, it might be $3 or $4. A big bag of baking soda, again, maybe I can't think of it off the top of my head, but maybe like $8 or something, and that will last me almost a year.
Wow. And how many bedrooms is your house?
4 bedrooms, 4 baths.
That's amazing. And it's you and 3 boys, right? Your husband
Yep.
and your that's amazing. Like $8 to clean your house for a year. Well, I mean,
right. Yeah,
at the basic level.
Basic, yeah, really
awesome.
Basic level.
So fun. That's so exciting. I love seeing your recipes in your little booklets, and I can't wait to try them. I actually wanted to try them before I talked to you, but I couldn't get around to it just yet. But I am totally excited to start trying that. I think just because living in a city too, you're already exposed to so many pollutants. There are these little things that we can do to kind of make our environments just a little bit more friendlier to ourselves.
I agree. And I think, going back to the whole rituals and routines and practices, like, to me, it's like a lifestyle now, all these different things, and it's not a chore, and it's not like this whole thing about being disciplined. It's the way I live, and I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, and you're a great example too, and also because you're a teacher, like outside of this natural living, you're also a teacher. So I think it's wonderful that not only do you learn about this and you live by it, but you teach it to others in a way that they can understand, which is so great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So on that note, also, you are teaching a course, Luminous Alchemy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, I was trying to figure out how I could offer what I do to people in a way to make it so that they could go through these transitions to change their lifestyle more easily. And we were talking about Mind-Body Alchemy, and I've changed the name of the program to that because I want people to realize, like, it's about meshing what's going on in their mind and their body and their spirit. So it's like an alchemy of all of them, and you end up in this place where you feel better about yourself, about life. You're more productive. You can make more money if that's your thing, or you can be more connected to people, or all of the above. And it's a 6-month program, and people can pay monthly or all at once. And I kept the cost really low so that that wouldn't be a barrier. And it comes with videos and audios and booklets and me helping you out. And so
that's awesome.
If you're interested, you can check it out on my website at spiritedpractice.com.
Perfect. And I'll be sure to put that in the show notes too, so that people can look that up. What can people expect? Like, who is this course for? And, what are some of the fun things that you plan on walking them through?
So this course is for anyone, especially if you're really busy and you want to move into more of a healthy lifestyle, and it's body, mind, spirit. So the focus is not just like on eating right, although that's a part of it. It's for anyone who's really busy who wants to change how they live and how they feel. And like some things that we'll do, like the very beginning is about like being in your body and being grounded, and it's about cleansing, so getting rid of stuff so that we can make space for new stuff. And that stuff could be clutter, like in your house, it could be chemicals, it could be negative thinking.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds very beneficial, and I think that a lot of people don't even realize that they could really, a program like this could really change their lives in very immediate and impactful ways. So I'm so excited for you to be offering that, and just, expanding the collective consciousness and awareness across the population. I took a sneak peek at some of the topics that you're offering in your course, and some of them are really cool, because you mentioned earlier that you do bring in the spirit into this. So are there any fun things that people can look forward to around that, like maybe with moon rituals or with crystals?
All of the above,
yeah. Setting sacred space.
Yes, all of those things that you're mentioning. We're
Right.
going to go over some things that people might find a little bit odd, or some people might find them really exciting, like learning how to smudge your house, or
Mm-hmm.
learning how to use crystals to change your energy, or learning what energy is, like, and the power of the moon and the different phases of the moon and how that can help influence your life, and yeah, natural products and all sorts of fun and exciting things.
I love that so much. And you actually reminded me of a question, a burning question that I've been having and been meaning to ask you, I think for maybe the past 2 months, but you've also been in Thailand, right? So, and you mentioned something about the importance of lighting a candle. Can you explain a little bit about that? Just for
Lighting
my, yeah, for my own curiosity. I think you meant um, why we light candles.
So that's so funny. Not that your question's funny, but that you've been hanging on to it for some time. So I use candles in lots of different ways, but it's such an ancient thing, fire.
Mhm.
And so for me, and so this is one of those things, Krissy, where for me it's really important to light a candle, and it kind of brings light, and I connect light to spirit. So when I light a candle, it automatically sets that sacred space for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because that's a connection that I've had throughout my entire life. And so I have a candle on my altar, and when I get up in the morning, after I take care of those personal needs, I light a candle, and I sit and I pull a card. And it's like, when I light that candle, it's like an immediate connection to spirit for me.
Oh,
And it's like bringing light into my world, connection to spirit, and then I can move ahead and do my next thing, whatever it is.
it almost seems like that's what's right for you, but it sounds like you have the ability to teach other people how to make something sacred to them, through their ritual and routine.
That's right, because maybe you don't like candles, or fire, or you
Mm-hmm.
can't have fire where you live. Like, I teach at a college, and I'll talk about lighting
Mm-hmm.
candles, and the students are like, I can't light candles in my dorm. So for some people that's not a possibility, and so finding what connects you to spirit, like, to me, if I can help you figure out what it is that creates that connection for you, or keeps that connection, then I feel like then I've done my job. You
Right.
know.
Like, what kind of questions would you ask to, figure out how people feel connected to spirit?
You want me to give all my deep dark secrets here?
No, just one. Like, so
Just
maybe,
one?
so maybe you can, get people who are wondering, what their connection is to spirit, or who are wanting to have a little bit more awareness brought into their life. What is something that maybe they can ask themselves?
Well, I would start with a question around, when do you feel really connected?
Ooh,
Think of those times in your life
mm-hmm.
when you felt a connection to spirit, whatever spirit means to you. Like, some people have a hard time with the word spirit. It might be God, goddess,
Mm-hmm.
the earth. When have you really felt connected to something bigger than yourself, greater than yourself?
I love that. Well,
And then just take it from there. Yeah.
do you find that there's one thing that really stands out to people in an experience like that, or is it
Um,
a mixture of things?
when people go digging a little bit deeper, I have found for many people there is one experience where they can connect and remember, and a lot of times it's a childhood experience.
Mm.
And yeah, and I really haven't met anyone yet. Not that there's not someone out there that doesn't pull up some sort of memory, and I will help guide people through various processes, because not all of us can even dig up those memories in the same way.
Right. Well, I think one last question, if you don't mind. I was wondering if you could just share your most favorite routine of your day.
Oh, that's interesting, because like my whole morning practice is it's kind of like from the time I wake up, and I've switched it around over the years and stuff, but I and it's a list of things, and it's so funny when I write it down and share it with someone. They're always like, "That's a lot of things," and it looks like it would take hours to get through my morning practice, and it doesn't, because one, I love doing it, but I just kind of flow from one thing to the next. And depending on which parts I do, like if I'm exercising and doing my yoga practice, it might take a little bit longer. But yeah, I would say my morning practice, because one, I've been doing it for so long and it just makes me feel so good.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you if you had like a silly, that might be considered a silly routine, because I know that I definitely have one that I do in the mornings to kind of just put me in the right energy. And it's dancing around my apartment. I put on music really loud and I have this pick me up playlist, and that's what I do for 5 minutes.
I love that.
Yeah, so fun. So I love that. And rituals and routines, I think, are just so important because, they really do support that mind-body connection, get you into that place of ideal energy where you want to be at. And I think it's really important for people to look at incorporating those into their lives, just because, one, not only are they practicing awareness, but two, they're also becoming, or I guess being more in control of their reality. Does that make sense to you? Or would you agree? Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree completely. That it does help people to feel more in control.
Right. And I love what you're doing, because it helps us to stop being so passive. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jacqueline. I love so much talking to you. And
thank you, Krissy, and thanks everyone who listens. And I wish you the best with your podcast. And I have to tell you, I love the work that you're doing. Glad that I can be a part of that.
Yeah, I'm like, I draw so much support from you, so that gratitude goes back to you. I really appreciate you. So what'd you guys think? Following this interview, I was so excited to try out some of Jacqueline's recommended DIY household cleaners and beauty products. And thus far, I'm pretty impressed. I loved her face mask recipes, especially the papaya face mask and the Eastern Indian mask. And because I make my own bath fizzies, I had a mini spa day all to myself. Soaking in the bathtub with beautiful natural products that made my skin feel completely nourished and loved was total bliss. Thank you so much to Jacqueline for sharing her story and journey around Mind-Body Alchemy. If you'd like to learn more or connect with her, you can find her on spiritedpractice.com. She's also offering a special discount just for our Prismatic Academy podcast listeners, which is 50% off her Naturally Clean and Natural Beauty ebooks, which you can find on her site. Of course, all of these links, coupon codes, and review of our little chat will be in the show notes on theprismaticlife.com. Next week will be loads of fun as always. I'm sitting down with a phenomenal naturopathic doctor, Dr. Phil Selinsky, who is the author behind The Human Machine. Now, he has built an amazing practice around his deep understanding of human anatomy, physiology, physics, metaphysics, and chemistry, all stemming from his vast experience beginning as a mechanical engineer. Sounds like there's a story here, right? His theories are slightly different from any I've ever heard, and personally, I've gone to him a few times to get my body back to right. With each visit, I'm always completely blown away, and I feel like I have a greater understanding of how my body works and what it's trying to tell me. He's helped me so much when it came to my battle with chronic fatigue, and I loved how he was able to read the feedback system between my organs and the meridian lines of energy running through my body. So if you're into learning more about the connections within the body and how you can better support it as a whole, this episode will totally be for you. I think that too many of us live with chronic pain and illness, and we tend to dismiss this as normal. But what if we had the ability to change that so that we could feel more energized and youthful and in alignment with health in order to support everything else we want to accomplish? Well, some of the topics we'll be discussing is about blood toxicity and how it will trump intelligent behavior every time, as well as his take on how pain is a result of the violation of the laws of physics, as well as how these understandings of these laws that drive our human machine can provide new and different choices for behavior. I think I can fill up an entire season just with speaking with him. I'm so excited to pick apart his brain and learn a little bit more about how we can optimize our health in order to optimize our creative and conscious output. So until next week, cheers everyone.